The transport ship docked at Station 7 with a soft hiss. The airlock opened, and Park stepped onto the metal floor of the Galactic Integration Academy for the first time. He carried a small bag over his shoulder and looked around with curious eyes. Everything was so different from Earth. The walls curved in strange ways. The lights were softer, meant for species with sensitive eyes. The air smelled clean but unfamiliar. Was 19 years old. He had brown hair, brown eyes, and a friendly face. He was not very tall, not very short. On Earth, he looked completely normal. Here, among the stars, he was something else entirely. He was a human. He was from A woman waited for him near the airlock. Her name was, and she was the human liaison officer on the station. She had been here for 2 years, helping to build relationships between Earth and the galactic community. She smiled when she saw him. "Welcome to 7," she said. "How was the trip?" "Long," said, "but I slept most of the way." Nodded, she remembered her own journey here. 3 weeks in a ship, watching stars pass by like fireflies. "Let me show you to your room. Try not to scare anyone on the way." Laughed but did not. She was serious. They walked through the station's main corridor. Students of many species moved around them. Saw creatures he had only read about in training files. They were small and gentle, like deer that walked on 2 legs. Their large eyes watched everything with nervous attention. They were amphibious with smooth skin and wide mouths. They moved in groups, always talking in their bubbling language. They were the strangest. They looked like living crystals, their bodies catching the light and breaking it into rainbows. All of them stopped to stare at. He felt their eyes on him. He tried to smile, to show he was friendly. A group of students saw his teeth and quickly moved away. Their ears pressed flat against their heads in fear. Smile faded. "Did I do something wrong?" "You showed your teeth," said quietly. "For most species, that is a threat. It means you want to bite them." "Oh," closed his mouth. "I was just trying to be nice." "I know, but nice is different here. You will learn." They continued walking. Whispers followed them like shadows. Could not understand the alien languages, but he could feel the meaning. Fear, curiosity, more fear. Explained as they walked. "They know about Earth. They know it is a Class 12, high gravity, extreme weather, predators everywhere. Most species cannot survive there for even 1 day." "It is not that bad," said. "To them, it is hell," replied. "And you are a creature that was born in hell and survived. You are a predator, your eyes face forward like all hunters. You have teeth for tearing meat. Your body is built for chasing prey over long distances until they collapse from exhaustion." Had never thought about himself this way. He was just a normal person. He liked reading books and playing games. He was not a hunter. He bought his food from stores. But the aliens did not know that. They saw his forward-facing eyes and thought of death. They saw his hands and imagined them wrapped around throats. They heard his footsteps and felt the echo of ancient prey being chased across endless plains. His room was small but comfortable. There was a bed, a desk, and a window that looked out into space. Stars filled the darkness like scattered diamonds. "Classes start tomorrow," said. "Xenobiology is first. The instructor is unnamed. He is nervous about you, so please be gentle with him." "I will try," said. Paused at the door. "One more thing, there are rumors about humans. Some are true, some are not, but the fear is real. These species evolved as prey. They look at you and every cell in their bodies tells them to run. It is not their fault. It is not your fault either, but it is the reality we must work with." Nodded, he understood. He did not like it, but he understood. That night he lay in bed and looked at the stars. He thought about Earth. He thought about his family, his friends, his dog. He missed them already, but he was here for a reason. He was here to show the galaxy that humans were not monsters. They were not mindless predators. They could be friends. It would not be easy. He knew that now. Every smile would be seen as a threat. Every laugh would sound like a hunting call. Every step would echo like doom. But was human. And if there was one thing humans were good at, it was not giving up. The next morning he woke early. He washed his face, put on his academy uniform, and looked at himself in the mirror. A normal face looked back at him. Brown eyes, friendly eyes, predator eyes. He took a deep breath and walked out the door. The corridor was already busy with students heading to class. They parted around him like water around a stone. Nobody walked close to him. Nobody met his eyes. That was fine. He had time. He would be patient. He would be kind. Eventually, they would see him for who he really was. Just a boy from Earth, trying to make friends among the stars. He found the xenobiology classroom and stepped inside. 30 pairs of alien eyes turned to look at him. 30 bodies tensed with instinctive fear. Raised his hand in a small wave, keeping his mouth closed. "Hello," he said softly. "My name is Park. I hope we can be friends." Nobody answered. The silence was heavy and cold. But somewhere in the back of the room, a student named tilted his head with something that was not quite fear. It was curiosity. And that was a start. 1 week passed at the Galactic Integration Academy, went to classes. He sat in the back. He kept his mouth closed when he wanted to smile. He moved slowly so he would not startle anyone. He was learning. The other students still feared him, but the fear was becoming smaller. Some of them could now walk past him without running. Some of them could look at him for a few seconds before looking away. It was progress. The student had even spoken to him once, just a simple greeting in the corridor, but it meant everything too. One small step toward friendship. Today was different though. Today, instructor had an announcement. His species looked like tall insects with 4 arms and large compound eyes. He was nervous around, but he tried to hide it. He was a teacher, after all. He had to be professional. "Class," said, his voice clicking slightly as he spoke. "Today we have a special lesson. The Academy has obtained a live specimen for study, a real predator from the jungle world of Prime." Whispers spread through the classroom like wind through grass. Saw the students pressing closer together. Their ears were flat with worry. "The creature is called a," continued. "It is one of the most dangerous predators in the known galaxy, but do not worry. It is safely contained behind a level 5 barrier field. You will be completely safe." A door at the side of the classroom opened. 4 security officers walked in, guiding a large hovering platform. On the platform was a cage made of glowing blue energy, and inside the cage was the leaned forward slightly to get a better look. It was big, very big. It stood on 6 powerful legs, each one ending in claws that looked like curved knives. Its body was covered in dark scales that seemed to eat the light. Its head was flat and wide, with a mouth full of fangs that dripped with something wet. Venom, probably. Its eyes were red and empty, like pools of blood. The creature paced inside its cage, moving back and forth with terrible grace. Every movement spoke of death. This was a killer, a perfect killer made by millions of years of evolution to hunt and destroy. The other students were terrified. Some of them were shaking. A young named Tail looked like he might faint. His large eyes were fixed on the, unable to look away. Began his lecture. "Thee is the apex predator of Prime. It has no natural enemies. Colonial expeditions to that world have failed because of this creature. It can run at speeds of 60 kilometers per hour. Its venom can kill most species in minutes. Its claws can cut through standard armor. It is, in many ways, the perfect predator." Listened and took notes. He wrote down the numbers, 60 kilometers per hour. That was fast, but not impossible. Humans could not match that speed, but they did not need to. Humans had never been the fastest. They had other advantages. The slammed against the barrier. The blue energy flickered but held. Students screamed and jumped back from their seats. The creature roared, a sound like metal being torn apart. Did not scream. He did not jump. He simply looked up from his notes, watched the barrier hold, and went back to writing. Tail noticed this. The young was sitting a few rows ahead of. He had turned to run but stopped when he saw the human. That was not afraid. He was just sitting there, calm as still water, writing notes like nothing had happened. How could anyone be so calm in front of a? Continued the lecture with a shaking voice. The hunt's by ambush. It waits in the jungle perfectly still until prey comes close. Then it strikes with incredible speed. The prey has no chance to escape. Raised his hand. Everyone turned to look at him, even the seemed to pause. Yes, asked nervously. What is its stamina like? Asked. How long can it chase prey before it gets tired? Blinked all four of his eyes. An interesting question. The is an ambush predator. It does not chase. It uses short bursts of speed to catch prey quickly. A prolonged chase would exhaust it within minutes. Nodded and wrote this down. I see, thank you. The other students did not understand why this mattered, but something in his voice made them uneasy. He had asked the question like a soldier asking about enemy weaknesses, like a hunter studying prey. But that was impossible. Nobody hunted were the hunters. The lesson continued, talked about the senses, its hunting patterns, its role in the ecosystem of Prime. The creature continued to pace, watching the students with its blood-red eyes. Moved closer to where sat. That was curious. He had been watching the human for a week now, trying to understand him. You are not scared, said quietly. Looked at him, should I be? It is everyone is scared of. Looked at the creature in its cage. He watched it move, studied its muscles, counted its legs. It is dangerous, agreed. But it is just an animal. Animals can be understood. Animals can be predicted. Fear should be saved for things that cannot be understood. Did not know what to say. This human was strange. He looked at a monster and saw only a problem to be solved. The lesson ended. The was taken away, still packing in its cage. The students left quickly, eager to be away from the predator. Walked out slowly. He was thinking about what he had learned. 60 kilometers per hour, short bursts, gets tired quickly. On Earth, humans had hunted animals faster than themselves for thousands of years. They did not need to be fast. They just needed to be patient. Keep following. Keep walking. Keep going until the prey collapsed from exhaustion. Persistence hunting, the most terrifying form of predation in the galaxy. They did not know it, but it had just met something more dangerous than itself. It had met a human. The next day, the class gathered again for the practical part of the xenobiology lesson. There was back in its cage, packing endlessly. Its red eyes tracked every movement in the room. Sat in his usual spot at the back. Next to him was a new face. Han had arrived at the academy just yesterday. She was the second human exchange student sent to join in representing Earth. She was 20 years old with short black hair and sharp eyes. Where was quiet and calm was bold and curious. So that is she whispered too. It is smaller than I expected. Looked at the 2-meter-tall killing machine. You expected bigger. I read the files. They made it sound like a dinosaur. Instructor called for attention. Today we will observe this hunting behavior. I will release small drones into the containment field, and we will watch how the creature responds. He pressed a button. 3 small flying drones entered the cage through a special port. This head snapped toward them instantly. What happened next was almost too fast to see. The creature exploded into motion. Its 6 legs pushed it through the air like a missile. 1 drone was destroyed in a single bite. The second was cut in half by a claw. The third tried to fly higher, but actually jumped, and caught it in its jaws. 3 drones, 3 seconds, all destroyed. The students were silent with shock, even raised his eyebrows slightly. The thing was fast. Leaned toward him. Okay, maybe it is impressive. Short bursts, said quietly. Look at it now. She looked, though was breathing heavily. The short attack had cost it energy. It was already tired. Ambush predator, understood. Fast but no stamina. Exactly. Continued the lesson. He talked about predator-prey relationships, about evolutionary advantages, about the balance of nature. The students listened, but their eyes kept going back to the. It was hard to focus on theory when death was packing 10 meters away. Then it happened. The lights flickered. A deep hum ran through the station. Something in the power systems had failed. Emergency alerts began to flash on the walls, and the containment field around the cage flickered and died. For 1 second, nobody moved. The blue energy that separated the predator from the prey simply vanished. They stood still, confused by the sudden change. Then it understood. It was free. It roared and lunged forward. Its claws scraped against the metal floor as it charged toward the nearest group of students. Chaos erupted. Students screamed and ran in every direction. Desks were knocked over. Data pads fell to the floor and shattered. The door to the corridor became jammed with bodies as everyone tried to escape at once. Instructor froze. His species had evolved as prey millions of years ago. When faced with a predator, his instincts told him to stay still and hope he would not be seen. It was the worst thing he could do, but his body would not listen to his mind. Tail was trapped. The young had been sitting near the front of the class. When everyone ran, he had been knocked down. Now he was on the floor, his leg twisted painfully beneath him. He could not stand. He could not run. He could only watch as it turned its red eyes toward him. The creature stalked forward. It knew injured prey when it saw it. Easy meat. Simple kill. Its mouth opened, showing rows of venom-dripping fangs. Tail closed his eyes. He thought of his home world. He thought of his family. He hoped death would be quick. Then he heard footsteps. Not running away, running toward. His eyes opened. Park was walking toward the. Not running, walking. Slow, steady steps. His body was relaxed. His hands were open at his sides. He looked at the monster like it was just another problem to be solved. They paused. This was strange. Prey did not walk toward predators. Prey ran. Prey screamed. Prey died. But this creature, this small two-legged thing, was coming closer. They turned away from Tail. This new creature was more interesting. More dangerous, maybe. It needed to be dealt with first. Stopped a few meters from the beast. He looked into its red eyes. He did not blink. "Hey," he said in a calm, low voice. "Over here, look at me." They growled. The sound vibrated through the floor. From the back of the room moved. She did not run toward the beast. Instead, she moved toward the trapped students, putting herself between them and the predator. Her eyes met for just a moment. No words were needed. They understood each other perfectly. He would hold the monster's attention. She would get the others to safety. Pack hunting, the oldest human strategy, two predators working as one. The crouch preparing to strike, its muscles tensed, its claws dug into the floor. Took a deep breath. His heart was beating fast now. Adrenaline flooded his body. His senses became sharper. Time seemed to slow down. This was what humans were made for. This was what millions of years of evolution had prepared them for. Not to run from predators. To face them. They lunged. And moved. They was fast, but had been watching it. He had studied how it moved. He knew it attacked in straight lines, using speed and power to overwhelm prey. So he did not try to block. He stepped to the side. The creature flew past him, claws cutting through empty air. It crashed into a row of desks, sending them flying across the room. Did not wait. He grabbed a metal chair from the floor. It was not a weapon, not really. But humans had been using tools for millions of years. Anything could become a weapon in human hands. They turned and charged again, raised the chair and met the attack. Metal crashed against claws. The impact shook his arms, but he held on. He pushed the creature back and stepped away. Across the room was moving the students toward the door. She pulled Tail to his feet, letting him lean on her shoulder. Her voice was calm and firm as she guided the panicking aliens. "Move, keep moving, do not look back." Helped was scared, but he was also amazed. The humans were not running, they were fighting. They were protecting strangers. Why? Why would any creature risk death for others? They attacked again, and again, and again. Each time moved just enough to avoid the killing blow. He did not try to hurt the creature. He could not. His chair was dented and bent, barely holding together. Against those claws and fangs, he had no real chance. But he did not need to win. He just needed to survive, to keep the monster focused on him, to give the others time to escape. They was getting frustrated. This prey would not die. It would not run. It just kept moving, kept dodging, kept refusing to give up. This had never happened before. On Prime, everything ran from everything died. Minutes passed. The creature's attacks became slower. Its breathing became heavier. Could see the exhaustion building in its body. Ambush predator, fast but no stamina. Was tired too. His arms ached. His legs burned. Sweat ran down his face and soaked his uniform. But he did not stop. He could not stop, not yet. Had almost gotten everyone out. Just a few more students near the door. Just a little more time. They seemed to sense that its prey was slipping away. It turned toward the fleeing students, ready to chase easier targets. Threw his broken chair at its head. The metal bounced off the creature's scales without doing any damage, but it got this attention. Red eyes turned back to him, filled with rage. "I am right here," said. His voice was steady despite his exhaustion. "You want to kill something? Come and try." They roared and charged one final time. But it was slow now, so slow compared to its first attack, could see every movement, predict every motion. He waited until the last moment. Then he dropped to the floor and rolled to the side. The claws missed him by centimeters. The creature tried to turn, but its tired legs could not respond fast enough. It stumbled and fell, crashing to the floor in a tangle of limbs and scales. For a moment the room was silent. They lay on the ground, breathing heavily. It tried to rise but could not find the strength. 7 minutes of hunting had drained everything from it. Stood up slowly. His whole body was shaking now. The adrenaline was fatting, leaving only pain and exhaustion behind. But he was alive, and the students were safe. Security officers finally arrived. They ran into the room with heavy weapons drawn. When they saw the scene, they froze in confusion. There was on the floor, too tired to move. And a human was standing over it, barely standing himself, with nothing but a bent chair at his feet. "What happened here?" the lead officer asked. Looked at him, then he looked at the exhausted predator on the ground. A small smile crossed his face. "I went for a jog," he said. "I think it could not keep up." Nobody understood the joke, but laughed from the doorway. She knew. Humans knew. On Earth, their ancestors had chased prey across endless grasslands. They could not run fast, but they could run far. Hour after hour, mile after mile, until the prey collapsed from exhaustion. Persistence hunting, the most terrifying form of predation in the galaxy. The perfect killer of Prime had finally met something it could not beat. Not through speed, not through strength, not through claws or fangs or venom. Through patience, through endurance, through the simple, terrible refusal to give up. The security officers stunned and took it away. Medical teams arrived to treat the injured students. Someone wrapped a blanket around his shoulders. He sat down on the floor, too tired to stand anymore. His hands were shaking. His heart was still racing. But he was smiling. Because for the first time since arriving at the academy, the other students were not looking at him with fear. They were looking at him with wonder. The medical bay was quiet, sat on a bed while a doctor treated his wounds. He had cuts on his arms and bruises across his body, nothing serious, nothing that would not heal in a few days. The doctor was one of the crystalline beings. Her hands moved gently as she applied healing gel to his injuries. "Your body is already closing these wounds," she said with surprise. "The bleeding stopped before you even arrived here." Nodded, "Humans heal quickly. It is a survival thing." The doctor looked at him with new eyes. Another adaptation, another terrifying ability that humans took for granted. The door opened. Tail walked in slowly, still limping from his injured leg. The young looked nervous, but he came forward anyway. "I wanted to thank you," Tail said. His voice was quiet. "You saved my life." Looked at him kindly. Anyone would have done the same. Tail shook his head. His large eyes were wet with emotion. "No, no one else would have. Everyone ran. Everyone except you and the other human. You ran toward the danger, not away from it." Did not know what to say. To him it had been obvious. Someone was in danger, someone needed help. What else could he do? But he was starting to understand that this was not obvious to other species. Their instincts told them to run, to hide, to survive at any cost. The idea of risking death for a stranger was alien to them in the truest sense. Entered the medical bay next. She had a bandage on her arm where a claw had scratched her during the evacuation. She sat down next to and smiled. "The academy is going crazy," she said. "They are rewriting all their materials about humans. Instructor submitted a new lesson plan this morning." "What is it called?" asked. Laughed. "Comparative predator biology. Why are more dangerous then?" Tail's ears twitched with interest. "Is it true? Are humans more dangerous then?" And exchanged a look. How could they explain? How could they describe millions of years of evolution on a world that tried to kill them every day? "Are ambush predators," said carefully. "They are fast and strong, but they get tired quickly. Humans are different. We are pursuit predators." "What does that mean?" Tail asked. "It means we chase our prey," explained. "Not fast. We cannot catch most animals in a sprint, but we do not need to. We just keep following, hour after hour, mile after mile. We walk and run and walk again. The prey gets tired and has to rest, but we do not rest. We keep coming. Eventually, the prey collapses from exhaustion, and then we catch it." Tail stared at them. The idea was horrible, terrifying, a predator that never stopped, a hunter that would follow you to the end of the world. "There is more," added. "We have adrenaline. It is a chemical in our blood. When we are in danger, it makes us stronger and faster. It lets us ignore pain. We can keep fighting even when we are injured." "And we pack bonds," said. "We form groups. We protect each other. We will die for our pack members, not just family. Anyone we care about, anyone we have bonded with." She looked at Tail with warm eyes. "Anyone at all, even people we just met." Tail sat down heavily. His mind was trying to process everything he had learned. Humans were not just predators. They were something else, something new. A species that combined all the most dangerous traits in the galaxy. Pursuit hunting, chemical enhancement, pack loyalty. No wonder Earth was it had produced the ultimate survivors. Days passed. Life at the academy slowly returned to normal, but everything had changed. Students no longer ran from and they approached them with questions. They sat near them in class. They wanted to understand these strange, terrifying, wonderful creatures from Earth. Became their first real friend among the aliens. This curiosity had finally overcome his fear. He asked endless questions about Earth, about humans, about everything. One evening, they sat together in the cafeteria. Other students had gathered around, listening. "Is it true," asked, "that humans keep predators as companions, large predators with claws and fangs?" Smiled. He took out his communicator and showed them a picture. It was a golden retriever named, sitting in a sunny backyard on Earth. "This is my dog," said. "Her name is." The aliens stared at the image. They saw the animal's size. They saw its teeth. They saw its claws. It was clearly a predator, a dangerous creature. And it was licking a human child's face in the next picture. Dogs evolved from wolves, explained. Wolves are pack hunters, very dangerous. Thousands of years ago, humans and wolves started working together. We hunted as one pack. Over time, wolves became dogs. They became our friends, our family. You domesticated apex predators, said slowly. You made them love you. We pack bond with anything, said simply. We cannot help it. Give a human enough time and it will become friends with anything. Predators, prey, other humans, aliens. He looked around the table at the gathered students. So different from humans, so strange and wonderful. Even all of you, he said warmly, if you will let us. The cafeteria was quiet. Then slowly, Tail reached out and touched hand. It was a gesture of friendship among the. I would like that, Tail said. I would like to be part of your pack. One by one, the other students agreed. The twins from chemistry class, even some students who had been too scared to approach before. Felt warmth spread through his chest. This was why he had come to the stars, not to show humans were strong, not to prove they were dangerous, to show they could be friends. Raised her glass of water. To the pack, she said. Everyone raised their drinks. To the pack. And somewhere in the stars, a new pack was born. A pack of humans and aliens, predators and prey, all bound together by something stronger than fear. Friendship. The most human thing of all.